Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And here we have another battery. Just received this one in the mail, and we're going to be doing a full review and test on this one. And let's start off with, I'm going to show you the top of it. It's got a little bit of damage there, but normally my experience has been that they pack these things pretty well, so that shouldn't have caused any damage to the battery inside. But we'll find out. So who is this from? Nope, fooled you. Not from WattCycle. This is from LiPULS. Okay, so LiPULS is another company that has a very good reputation. And we're going to be reviewing this battery. And this is a 12 volt or 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery. So we're going to get it out of the box right now, and I will show you what we're dealing with, and then we'll move on to setting it up, because it's going to have to be charged. As I've told you in past videos of reviewing batteries, all these batteries ship less than 50% charge. And that's a safety thing. They have to do that for safety. So, when you receive one, before you can use it, you've got to charge it all the way up. And that's what we're going to be doing here in a few minutes. So inside here we have the nice little zipper pack with the quick start guide and the product manual. Okay. So this is what's inside of here. Join with us, power your life with LiPULS, or LiPULS, sorry. And then we've got a product manual here, and we'll be going through that in a little while. And they had a small piece of styrofoam underneath the books, just taking up this little space here because of the actual, let me get up higher here. So this was taking up the space here because of the two terminals there that stick up a little way. So apparently that damage right there didn't even get through the cover very much. Just a slight little wrinkle in the cover. So everything looks okay on the inside. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is set my tripod back down here and see if we can't crank this thing up a little bit. Get a better look down on it than straight across at it. So there, that's better. That looks a lot better. All right, so let's get this thing out of the box. Get my knife out of the way here. Get the paperwork out of the way here. And here we have 2 packs of bolts, M8 bolts. And one is the short M8s and the other one is the long M8s. And those of you who haven't seen my other videos, the short ones are when you use a single cable, battery cable to the battery, and the longer ones are when you have multiple cables to the battery. So if you're tying them in series or parallel and you have to have extra cables per connector, you would use the longer bolts. All right, so that looks like it for there. Let's see. Well, I'm going to have to dump it. Dump it? What are you talking about? All right. So we get it down on its side here and work it on out of the box. All right. And there's nothing left in the box, so we can get that out of the way. Now they have it in a nice plastic wrap here. So we're going to get that out of there. And I guess I need my knife again. Oh boy. There we go. Let's see if I can get the plastic bag off. Okay. This is another company that went with the plastic flip-up handles. And it's not very heavy at all. I think this thing weighs somewhere around 24 pounds. We'll look that up in the book and I'll get back to you on that. Okay, so this one is a LiPULS battery mini, but I don't think it has Bluetooth. Well, I'll have to go through the manual on that and see. So if it doesn't have Bluetooth, I will be connecting a battery monitor system to it, and we will see where we go from there. Now, give me just a second, because right outside the door here, I should have my multimeter. All right, so let's set it right here, turn it on, and this is a neat little multimeter. It does auto setting on it, so you don't have to figure out which switches to put where when you use a unit like this, because it's automatic. All you have to do is put the positive terminal on where you want it and the negative terminal on where you want it, and it will check for DC volts, AC volts, ohms, amps, all that stuff. So depending on how you make the connection. So we're going to go from the positive to the negative. And we have 13.19. That's exactly where it should be for shipping. But you think that 13.19 would be, oh wow, I got plenty of power in this battery, I can use it as is. No. LiPo4 batteries have a different power curve than lead acid batteries, where that would be an acceptable amount for a lead acid battery. It will definitely not be good for a LiPo4. Okay, so you've got to charge these things all the way up. Now, these things normally on a 12.8 100 amp hour battery, the full charge is 14.6 volts, and that will drop and settle back a little bit when after you've taken the charger off and let it sit. But it will charge at 14.6 all the way up until the charger green light comes on, and that will be the end of that. So this is the first part. I'm going to pause, get my wires connected, and we'll go from there. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I got all the wiring connected, and I'll show you exactly what I did here. So I have my battery monitor shunt on the negative post of the battery that comes down and is connected to the side marked B- right there for battery negative or battery minus. So that's what that connects to. Okay, then the other side comes off. It has a cable here, and that long cable is so that when later on when I connect it to an inverter, that will be the negative cable going to the inverter. But for right now, we're going to be charging only. I don't have an inverter connected to this because I don't want to drain on the battery. I want to just charge the battery. But I want to be able to monitor the charge, what's going on with the charge parameters on the monitor here. So I can turn the light on for that. It should stay on for a little while. So we're showing that we're at 13.1 volts on the battery, and that's what we saw when we read it before. It was 13.19, I think it was. something like that. You can look back and see. Anyway, yeah, because it's at 13.2 now. Okay, so there's no amps and bouncing off of watts here. That's no big deal. I hope the air conditioner noise isn't bothering you, but it is well over 100 degrees out here right now, and I'm inside here and I wanted some air conditioning, so I've got that running. And this battery is going to end up running that air conditioner, and we're going to do a capacity test using that air conditioner as the load, and we'll be able to see everything on the monitor here. Okay, so back to the connections. So the cable that comes off of this side, which is marked power minus or power negative, so that's what's going to whatever you're going to be powering. So we want to go on that side with the negative cable right here, the negative cable of the charger, because we want it to run through the shunt in order to get proper readings on there. Okay, now the positive is this little wire right here, a little red wire, and that's connected on the positive pole of the battery along with the positive wire for the charger. So right now I'm going to turn on the light so you can see what's going on there, and I'm going to plug the charger in. And we have a green light on the charger and just turned red. So it's in charging right now. And you can see right here the lights are going to flash on and off because that's what it does in charging mode. And we're showing here that we're at 13.3 volts, charging at 20.3 amps, which is good. That's a 2C. So we're at putting in 271 watts of charge into the battery right now. So you can't go by the 100% here because it's not really 100% right now. It's a 100 amp hour battery, but it's not at 100% because it hasn't completed its charge yet. So what's going to happen is it's going to sit here and charge. Normally it's roughly somewhere around 3 hours, or a little more, a little less. And this light will turn green when it's fully charged, and then we'll come back and check our stats on it and disconnect the charger from it, and we'll be ready to start testing. So I'm going to pause and I'll be back. Okay, everybody, we're back, and we're still charging here. It should be getting pretty close to being full charge here now. So I see it at 14.1 volts on the monitor, 14.2 now, and it's down to charging at 11 amps, so, and dropping, and the watts are dropping too, so it's going down fast. So that light should turn green real soon here. Oh, there it is. How do you like that? Timed that just right, didn't I? Well, I've charged enough batteries in the past to know exactly what's going to happen. So once you do have these charged, you definitely want to disconnect your charger from the system. You no longer need that. So let's see. Oh, there's my socket. Oh, it's ice cold from the air conditioner. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to take off the positive side here of the charger, and I'm going to leave the monitor still on there so that we still have readings, because I'm going to be connecting an inverter to this, and getting ready to plug the air conditioner in and run the air conditioner on it. But I'm probably not going to do that until tomorrow, because it's pretty cool in here now. Even though it's 102 degrees outside, it's pretty nice in here. And I'll be shutting the air conditioning off in a little while because I don't need it anymore and it's getting a little chilly. But anyway, that's what's going on, everybody. I'm going to pause this again and finish disconnecting the charger. And I'll bring the inverter over here and get that hooked up so it's ready to go. And from there, it'll be an easy task. All right, everybody, stand by. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and here we are set up for the test. As you can see, we are at 100%, 100 amp hours. I just took the charger off a second ago, made sure that it was ready to go with a full charge, fresh off the charger. Okay, now, don't get me wrong. When I say that, I actually let it sit for a whole day in between the last segment of this video and this part. So that lets the cells all balance themselves. So I recharged it again today, this morning, to make sure that it was full charge to start the test. Now, in the inverter here, I have plugged in the air conditioner right there. That air conditioner is going to be the load test. All right, and we'll be able to see the numbers of how much it's drawing when I turn that on. All right, and then over here, I have set up my laptop with a timer on it. So the timer will let us know how long it ran. All the information should be on there anyway. So we'll see. It's saying that we're ready to go, right? But before we do that, let me get out here some stats. All right, so here we go. There's your nominal voltage capacity, 300 minutes at capacity at 20 amps. That would be 5 hours. And we have the weight over here. So the weight is about 21 pounds. And there's the measurements, 8.35 inches tall, 5.4 inches wide, or depth, I'm sorry, and wide is 9 inches. So that's around a group 24 size, roughly. So here we go. Continuous discharge current would be maximum of 100 amps. Peak current charge at 200 amps. BMS discharge cutoff would be at 300 plus or minus 10 amp. So that would be anywhere from 290 to 310. We're not going to test that. We don't need to, because most of you out there don't know what that means. All right. So I like doing real life tests. So people would say, well, that's all interesting jumble joggle that you're passing out, but how long will it run my air conditioner? Or how long will it run my refrigerator? That's what they want to know. They don't want to know all of the technical stuff that they don't understand to start with, right? So that's why I do these real life type tests. I test an item like an air conditioner or a freezer or something like that. All right. So we're going to first turn on the inverter and we'll see how much that draws. Okay, so it's settling in. Around 21 watts. 20 watts. 21 watts. So it's right in that area. Only about 1.5 amps. All right. So the air conditioner is going to go on high. And we're watching it here. We're now pulling almost 500 watts. It'll settle in as soon as the compressor gets up to speed. So we're down to 460, 469, 470. Let's call it 470 watts. And we're drawing 36 amps total. And we're down to 13.1 volts in the battery. It's saying we have almost 4 hours of runtime at this current draw. So I'm going to turn on I got the timer running, and we will be back to check out how we did on this system. So bear with me, pun intended. I'm pausing and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and we're looking at just a little over 2 hours right now. 2 hours, 2 minutes, and going on 30 seconds. And if we look over here, we're already flashing that we're getting down to 13% left. It says there's 17 minutes left in that. So if we add 17 to that, that's 257. That's almost 3 hours of runtime on this unit. Now, if you take the 1280 watt hours and divide it 550 into that, I'll show you, I'll put a screenshot of what that comes out to, and that's how long it actually predicted to run. So it's saying we got 17 minutes left before it's completely drained. And we're going to let it go for that period of time. It seems to be dropping pretty quickly now. We're down to 12%. And only got 12.4 volts left in the battery. So yeah, it's really going down. And I'll be recharging this battery when this is all done. So in the meantime, I was just looking at the card to see if there was any more information I needed to give you. So this is the LiPULS Mini LiPo4 1280 watt hour. That's 12.8 volt by 100 amp hours. And it looks like it's going to pass its capacity test. I think it was it's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes when it's done. So I'll do some math on that and post that in the end screen, and we'll see what we got from there. I could keep this running for a little while because I've only added another 2.5 minutes on this part of the video, so maybe I'll just let it run and we'll keep an eye on what happens here. Now, most likely, the inverter is going to shut down the alarm before it actually cuts the battery off. So, because the inverter requires a certain amount of power to keep it running, and when it drops below that, it'll set an alarm off. So, yeah, it's showing that it's about 12.5 volts on the left in the power coming into the inverter. So, and this is not a pure sine wave inverter. This is an old Harbor Freight inverter, 2000 watt modified sine wave, and it's worked for a lot of years for me. I'd have to say this one in itself is probably 25 years old at least, and it's still working. And I've got another one out in the shop that I use occasionally out there. So we're down to 10%. still pulling just around 44 amps. So it's been pretty steady on its draw through the whole test. And it's saying that there's 14 minutes left, and we are at 2 hours and 6, so that's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure that's what the math came out when I did the math on it. And another thing I want to explain, if you people see the word mini on a LiPo 4 battery, don't let that fool you into thinking that there's anything different about it from a regular size 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery. Okay. All of the components and the cells and all of that stuff are the same inside here. They just packed it slightly different so they can get it into a smaller package case. That's why they call it a mini. So you take any other 12.8 volt 100 amp hour LiPULS battery and it'll be the same stats as this one. It's got the same exact stats, because the only difference is the size of the case that they can slip it into. And when you cut these things open, you'll find that they've figured out ways of getting the components in there in a tighter fashion. Like, instead of having the BMS on the side, they'll have it on the top here, and they'll have a small BMS across the center with a little bar on top of it. But the way they put the cells in here, and these are Eve cells, I want you to know that. They're prismatic Eve cells, and they can put those this way, stacked 1, 2, 3, 4, or they can put them this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's different ways they can set up the system to where they can save room in the case and then call it a mini. But the mini doesn't mean that it's less power. Trust me, it's the same power. Well, we're getting down there. Amazing that it's running where it's still almost drained completely out. That's one thing I like about LiPo 4 batteries. And for those of you who don't know, LiPo 4, LiFePO 4, is Li for lithium, Fe for iron, P for phosphate, and O for oxygen. And 4 is the 4th generation of the design. Well, it's holding true to its numbers. If we go another 11 minutes, it'll be at 2 hours and 20 minutes. So everything seems to be consistent. I do have to add one more thing, and it's only my personal preference and my personal opinion, but I think that anybody in today's market who's making LiPo 4 batteries should put Bluetooth in every single one of them. It eliminates the need for this monitor and this shunt and all the extra wires and cables. And these LCD screens don't like the extreme cold or the extreme heat. So if you put this in a vehicle, you can end up ruining or damaging your monitor and you're out of luck. if they have Bluetooth in the battery, you've got an app on your phone or on your computer that you can monitor all of the same stats without having to worry about the extra equipment, the extra wires, the extra connections, the extra space, and the extra problems that might arise. So take note, LiPULS and other battery companies out there, if you're going to build batteries in LiPo4, put Bluetooth in them. And it's really a plus to us people who live off grid and need to monitor our batteries on a regular basis. Now, my whole cabin out here runs completely on LiPo4 batteries, and you can look up some of my other videos and see that setup and how it's done. But I love it. I love it. I don't get an electric bill every month, and I'm able to live a comfortable life out here off grid in my cabin with the electricity I need to do all of the basic functionalities and comforts of living. That's why I have air conditioners. I run them all day until it cools off at night and the winds come up, and then I use my desert air conditioner. And that's the nice cool breeze with a 15 to 20 mile an hour wind blowing across a desert that cools very quickly. Unlike you people that live in cities, your buildings and your infrastructures and all that concrete and asphalt and block walls and you name it, anything that's out there absorbs heat all day long. And after dark, it takes a while for all of that to dissipate up into the sky. Well, we're running a little bit long here, but that's amazing. I like the idea that this thing is doing its thing. Now it says we got 7 minutes left, so I'm going to let it go for the 7 minutes. I was going to pause, but for 7 minutes, I'm going to let it run. And we are now at 2 minutes and 2 hours and 14 minutes right now. And since the title of this video is going to be, how long did that mini battery run an air conditioner? Well, it will have our truthful answer in about 4 minutes. I have a feeling that it's going to shut down a couple minutes before the 6 minutes it says that are left, because it's going to set off the alarm on the inverter. But let's see if I'm right or wrong. Are you right or wrong? I love doing these review videos, not only for the knowledge it gives me, but I can share that information with you out there and save you headaches and time if you're setting up yourself to go out off grid. And I remember when a lead acid battery that size, a sealed lead acid battery, was more money than what these are now. And remember one thing, I don't care if it's a sealed lead acid or an AGM or any of those, if it's a lead acid battery, whatever the rating is on it, you only get 50% of that. Because if you drive that battery down below 50% of its capacity of what it's designed to put out, you go below 50% of that and you permanently damage your battery. Okay? That's not a good thing. So you don't want to do that. It took me the longest time to switch over to LiPo4, and now that I have, I am really glad that I did. But originally, when I started out here 10 years ago, one of these batteries was like 800 and something bucks, and I just couldn't afford that. So I went with the lead acid golf cart batteries, and they were 6-volt units. I had to hook up my system in series parallel, and I ran quite a few years on those batteries, but a lot of maintenance, lots of maintenance, and constantly monitoring them to make sure I didn't drop below that 50% mark ever, because I wouldn't have gotten that many years out of them. And lead acid, they say, are only good for 3 to 5 years. Well, I went nearly 9 years, nearly 9 years on mine. And that's a lot of maintenance and a lot of extra equipment that I had to buy to protect those batteries, plus a constant expense of buying distilled water in gallon bottles. And that stuff wasn't cheap. I couldn't believe how much they're getting for a gallon of water. You know, some places we're getting $2.50 for a gallon of distilled water. And what's distilled water? Reconstituted steam. God, ridiculous, isn't it? But we off-gridders, and that's one of the main things about my channel, is I try to save you guys from having to go through those headaches and those learning curves that I went through. So I'm giving you my life experiences on all of this stuff so that you can see firsthand what to avoid and what to go for. And if you're asking me, I say don't waste your time buying a bunch of cheap junk to run your electricity off-grid. Spend the money, get the good stuff up front. Even if it puts you in debt and you're gonna have to pay it off with interest over a bunch of years, it'll be worth it, trust me. Because there's no fun running out of power in the middle of a cold night or in the middle of a hot summer night. You really do want to have power when that stuff becomes a reality in your life. Wow, we're down to 1% and it's still going. So I guess I was wrong about it kicking off at around 2%. It says we got 1 minute left. And we just got to 2 hours and 19 minutes. So if it goes one minute, it's going to be at 2:20, which by all my numbers is exactly what we want to see. I do have to say that LiPULS has impressed me here so far and surprised me, because I really didn't think that little battery had it in it. But it's doing a great job so far. Says we've got a half an amp hour left, 4/10 of an amp hour left. And we're still going. Two-tenths of an amp hour left. I do have the monitor set, I think, for 10.5 volts for shutdown, but we're still at 11.2 volts, so we're doing okay. And we passed the 2 hours and 20 minute portion, going on 2 hours and 21 minutes, and still running. Impressive little battery, everybody. Fooled me. I didn't think it would do it. Well, it's heating up now because it's using almost 60. Well, it just up to 63 amps of draw. Oh. Oh, there it goes. Just shut down. So let's turn and see at 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Uh, 2 hours, 22 minutes. Excuse me. And let's say 5 seconds. So let's just call it 2 hours and 22 minutes. So very impressive. Very surprising. LiPULS 4 battery by LiPULS did a lot more than what I would have had expected it to do. All right. So we've got everything shut down. I'm going to set up the battery charger and get the battery charged back up to full charge while I go edit this video and get it posted. And I will post a screenshot of my math earlier that I did so that you can all see that. This is G Bear thanking you for joining me and signing off.